Welcome back to another episode of Cable Chatter. It's good to be here, standing on the shoulders of giants. John Schmidt, Rick Clear, Nick Poling, and those that have gone before me. I'm Blake Clevenger, and I'm here to bring you some of the news and things that are going on in Randolph County, and some unique information coming here from Randolph Eastern School Corporation. I'll be here with Aaron Black here in a few moments to explain an exciting building project that's hopefully coming to Randolph Eastern here this coming year. But first, let's have some community announcements. On Saturday, September 25th, the Winchester's Farmers Market will be on the downtown square. This is the final market for the 2021 season, so make sure you stop out and get some fresh produce. This will be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That same day, the Big Ginger Band will be at Artisan Park from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Monday, September 27th, on through October, there'll be a music jam at the Farmland Community Center from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Tuesday, September 28th, there'll be a senior seminar at the Farmland Community Center. This will be at 12:30 p.m. RSVP required. Thursday, September 30th, will be the opening reception of the Wannabe Quilters Show at the Union City Arts Depot from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And big news in Union City, Hometown Coffee will be opening that same day. Be sure to look for a Cable Chatter where we interview those folks and get a chance to hopefully make some coffee and just have a great conversation. On Friday, October 1st, will be the first Friday of Union City happening in the community room, hosted by the Historical Preservation Society and the City of Union City. This will be from 5:15 p.m. to 7 p.m. On Saturday, October 2nd, will be the annual chili cook-off and pie auction happening at the historic Farmland Community Center with an 8 a.m. registration and 11:30 a.m. opening to the public. That same day, the Winchester alumni and the Phi Delta Kappa scholarship fundraiser will be occurring, and they'll be selling Big Ruthie tenderloin sandwiches and sides. This will be at the Phi Delta Kappa building in Winchester, which is behind Goodrich Park, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday, October 6th to 9th, is the 75th annual Mardi Gras in downtown Winchester. Be sure to come down and check out the festivities. On Saturday, October 9th, Dyslexic Funk will be at Artisan Park from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Friday through Sunday, October 15th through the 17th, will be the 50th Lucas Oil Winchester 400 at the Winchester Speedway. So make sure you stop out that weekend and check out all the festivities at the world's fastest quarter mile. Those are our community announcements. I'm excited to be here and excited to talk about a unique opportunity here with Mr. Aaron Black. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, Blake, first of all, I appreciate you having me on. It's exciting to be part of Cable Chatter. Been around for a long time here at Union City, and I'm just happy to be a guest on the program. Aaron Black, superintendent here, finishing up my third year as superintendent, born and raised in Union City, just like you, graduated with Blake. We have that in common. So, happy to be home, proud husband, father, and really, really proud to lead the school corporation.
Well, we're glad to have you. We've done a lot in a couple of years, so it's been fun. But the reason we're here today is talk about a building project. It's been on social media, it's been in the paper, it's kind of been all over, and so let's talk about it. This building project. What's our goal here? Why are we doing this?
Our goal is really just to respond to the fact that Randolph Eastern understands that education is changing, that our students are changing, and therefore our facilities have to change. You mentioned, we've had a busy couple of years, and it's no secret that I like to move and move quickly. It creates a lot of pressure for people like yourself sometimes and those around me. But what keeps me up at night is make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students, and their needs are simply changing. The creation of collaborative spaces is extremely important in this world. Teaching kids and young adults how to work together is very important and a number one skill that workforce is looking for. To go along with that, also just a transition at the junior senior high. not away from four-year colleges, because we love and respect the kid that goes to four-year college, but we also have to do a better job training up those students that are going to go to the workforce via earning a certificate in a trade. So bolstering our career technical education, our agricultural department, our engineering department, our computer science department, business department, K.I.S.S TV, by really giving them the space that they need to grow and meet the needs of a changing student is really the purpose and what's driving this building project.
And I know I've been here for 16 years, which some days it feels like a long time, some days it doesn't feel like much time at all. And I know that I've watched that focus change, and I've always heard different people talking about what about the trades and whatever. We push everybody to college, and it's really been nice and refreshing to kind of see that shift a little bit, see the focus of education change to, well, four-year education might not be for every student, but there's a skill set or certificate or something available for students in whatever field they're interested in. And so one of the things we're looking at is collaborative spaces. And I know the elementary is one of our big focuses for those collaborative spaces. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing down there?
Yeah, down at the north side, if you've ever been in the building, there's a space, we call it the courtyard, that is really a wasted space. And it's a space that we can capture to maximize the potential for our students. And the goal there is to create a large learning center where we can have whole group instruction happen. When I say whole group, it could be an entire class that meets in this one area, and then they can break out into 6 smaller classrooms to do some small group instruction. It's going to be great space for reading intervention, instruction, and just good space to support our students' needs. Our students' needs have changed dramatically again, and data would tell us that literacy by the 3rd grade is one of the biggest determining factors of a student's success, and providing them a space in which they can learn with little distraction. There's always distractions in an elementary building, but with little distraction is really the vision behind that space. It's just giving our students space to work together and small group space where they can really hone their skills.
Absolutely, because I know, distractions are definitely a big thing. I can remember, and I'm sure you do as well, being up at the old west side, and some of those rooms were still part of that open concept, and you could be across the room, and you knew if Mrs. Thornburg was having a bad day, or she was working with some kids that were not doing what they're supposed to, she'd quiet 2 classrooms.
Yeah, those 6-foot-high bookshelves really didn't stop the noise from one classroom to the next. So, no, that's kind of, you hit the nail on the head. That's kind of the thought behind the vision behind that space. Collaboration space, but also small group workspaces where kids can collaborate, but they can also get small group instruction from our incredible staff.
And I know we've really focused on that. And I know as I walk around the building, whether it's doing repairs or just moving around to see what's going on, it's not uncommon for me to see some of our teachers working in the hallways or in different spaces, wherever they can find, to work with kids. And I would say on the floor in the hallway probably isn't the best educational space.
No, again, credit to our staff for getting it done. They've made those spaces get by, but kids are more easily distracted. Whether we as adults like that, it doesn't really matter. The world has changed. Technology has changed our students and their attention spans. There's plenty of studies to support that. And we have to be able to morph what we're doing. And part of that morphing is creating spaces that they can learn with less distraction.
And I know that space inside the building, inside that wing, it used to be open, but we put the middle school there, and that kind of closed that whole space off. And it's always been, it kind of can really become an eyesore because it doesn't get taken care of. It's hard to get equipment in and out to landscape. And so I know myself, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that change into something that can really be utilized. So what can you tell us about was moved down the hallway? I know we were looking a little bit at the middle school media center. Is that right? Yeah,
so both of our media centers are going to get more of a refresh. They're not going to get a huge floor plan change by no means, but definitely a remodel. And again, the remodel in those spaces, it's not, I think it's been called maybe a coffee bar or Starbucks feel. That's not the design behind the project. It's more, again, to create collaborative workspaces. Great the elementary K-8 Media Center, the learning spaces that they're creating for small group reading, reading areas where Miss Vincent can read to groups with again, to cut down distractions. That space is going to be created for that. It's also capturing some wasted space. That's what people have to understand with our media centers. There's some spaces where we store VCRs and TVs and things that we just don't need anymore. So let's capture that space and get it back to our kids. So that's the vision behind both the K-8 Media Center and the 912 Media Center at the high school.
Because those spaces were initially designed, built. The middle school was built in 03, and the high school was in 06. And education's changed, things have changed. I mean, our librarians have done a fantastic job with those spaces, but it's time for a little bit of a facelift.
Sure.
But then we also talked about CTE, or Career and Technical Education, and that's kind of down this hallway over here. So what are we looking at down that way?
So our 400 wing down here at the junior senior high, which is our science classroom, our CTE wing. We're looking at the computer lab, which you take care of our computer science classes and our cybersecurity courses. Great course offerings. That computer lab will get a facelift and an upgrade, much needed. Again, that space was designed now 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Things changed pretty dramatically, especially in education and more so in technology.
That's true.
So that space will become much more functional. We'll bring our engineering class down that Miss Osborne's teaching for us right now, and get her in a space where, again, collaboration can happen, not only amongst her students, but the vision is for the collaboration to happen between your students and her students, to some creation space there in that classroom. And then you go on down the wing to where the current ag classroom and ag shop is, giving that a total facelift, opening up that space to where it's a good, clean work environment for students to create. Our ag program is going to see I would say the greatest benefit from this project, because they'll have new welding bays, new tools in their hands, and just more clean, functional space for education. But really the goal is, think about farmers and how much technology has changed farming.
Absolutely.
I would love to see computer science kids working with engineering kids that are working with agricultural students on a like project, because they are all married together in some way when they get out into the real world. So creating that wing just really, really bolsters our CTE programming. It's the direction we need to head for a strong majority of our students. I'd say we're looking at maybe a 75-80% of our students that need to be looking at credentialing, and not necessarily four-year colleges, which is great and fine. We have a workforce that is depleting, that's obvious, and this is our way to respond and help meet those needs.
Because I know, like I said, I've been here for 16 years. I was here during that 06 renovation when we did a lot of work on the tech wing, but I can say with confidence that shop saw very little of that work. I mean, if you were here in the 90s or 80s or whenever, and you went back in that shop, it would be, heck, you might, if you knew where to look, you might find some welding marks that you put in those welding booths. And so it's definitely an area that needs some updating.
Yeah, we've definitely ignored that department in some ways, and not. The past has kind of driven decisions. There was a strong push for tech and four-year colleges, but times have changed, and I think, again, we've looked at a depleting workforce and realized maybe we didn't have it right. But you're right, our shop and that ag classroom are in desperate need of a facelift, and not only a facelift, but just more functionality in what they do. I mean, some of the things, like you said, have been there since we were in school, and sadly, that's becoming a long time ago.
Yeah.
But no, it's exciting. It's exciting to bring those opportunities to our kids. And I know there's a lot of talk, about, why aren't we teaching kids to change oil and change tires and those type of things? That's what I'm hoping that Springboard ends, where we're headed, is bringing those opportunities back, because there's skills that our students have missed out on for a number of years for a number of different reasons, and we've got to respond to them.
Yeah, we've got some of our former students working in town doing mechanic work, doing whatever, and bringing those skills back inside, I think would be great. I know I've seen what the new shop will hopefully look like, and just the ability to flexibly use that space. If you want to move some of the equipment out of the way and bring a vehicle in, it's going to be available. Nice open space, a project yard. I think it'll really be a neat space to utilize for anything.
And when you couple that with what we're doing at Vision Corner downtown with the city, that project is really, really going to bolster our K.I.S TV program and our business program, our Apache program. Really, our career technical education wing of Union City Junior Senior High School are going to get a huge upgrade, and my hope is all in the same summer. That way, we don't miss any more time giving our students what they need and deserve to be effective in life.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know I've been in some of the Vision Corner meetings, and I'm looking forward to an opportunity to kind of discuss that on the show and kind of look at the different plans, because there's some neat things really happening with that. And we've touched on this, and the last time we had a building project, it's been 2003, 2006.
2006. So 2003 is when we did the new west side,
right?
The middle school building, which is the metal building in between the old north side and Union City Community High School. And then 2006 when they did the science wings and the office areas and the high school library and media center. So that was the last major renovation / upgrade that the school has seen. We've done some classroom upgrades, paint, some HVAC things there, but not anything as far as changing the architecture of the buildings.
And I know, I'm in that lab that has seen a lot of in and out and changing from whether it was a lab to start with to storage at one point, even to back to bringing that computer science stuff back in. I mean, I know that if this goes through, I'm excited to have some windows. I can't even see what the weather's doing outside. So I'm looking forward to knowing whether I need a jacket to go home. But yeah, that's been a while. I think we've done a good job utilizing that space, even though it's kind of grown and we've grown in different directions.
Well, I think we've proven to be very flexible in how we use our space. Question. I think that when people look at building projects, especially this magnitude, well, don't you have functional space? And my response to that has been, yeah, we all could probably dig deep enough and find a functional VCR in our house that would still play a VHS. And to the students watching this, I'm sorry, you have no idea what a VHS is, but it's functional, right? You can still watch the movie, but not the quality of movie that you can watch streaming a 4K movie on Netflix. So our kids deserve a 4K experience. That's my opinion. I feel very strongly about that, and I feel strongly about if you're going to do something, do it right, or don't do it at all. And I think the work that we put into this is doing it right.
Absolutely. And so and a lot of folks that are going to be watching will be asking, kind of thinking, okay, what does this mean? What does this mean to the people that are living in our district? And so what kind of impacts are going to have? Because this kind of project costs some money.
Sure. Yeah. When you think about which you should, because everybody's personal finances, especially in this world, it seems like it's a question mark all the time. It's going to have an impact, a minimal impact on a majority of folks. That's reality. Most of us, as far as property taxes, which is what this will impact, are up against our property tax cap already. So the tax impact's going to be minimal. And people got to know that this is spread out over 20 years. So that's all Randolph Eastern taxpayers paying into something over 20 years. So it's divvied up quite a bit in how we attack this. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I created it. There's people in Indianapolis, it's what they do for a living, forecast debt for schools and how to best get the bang for their buck. So I trust in them. And again, it is a incremental change in our property taxes, but it's small in magnitude, I think, as far as what we're getting for our kids.
And so, and I've seen some of the charts, and it's a little difficult to kind of wrap your head around that. But so the tax will jump up for a little bit. But is this? I mean, you said this is a 20-year loan? Is this all 20 years, or what are we looking at here?
That's a great question. So the property tax change would actually be experienced in 2023, 24, 25, and 26, and then they would come back down to a relative level to what we are now. Obviously, our assessed value, there's a lot of things that go into the calculation. Our assessed valuation at Randolph Eastern taxpayers will change what that looks like every year, no matter what we do. Those 4 years, it's going to be a little bit higher, but the anticipation is for it to come back down to levels that we're at now. And again, I think a strong majority of people will hardly notice that it changed. And then there are some that it may impact more than others, but that's more because the others are already paying at their tax cap, and there are some that are not.
So if everything goes according to plan, and we this proves to be a good idea, and we kind of get started, what's our start-finish plan here?
Well, our hope is, especially with the courtyard infill, is to get them started when the weather breaks, April, May-ish, to start doing some demo. Again, you got to get concrete. You got a 30-foot tulip tree that's in the middle of this courtyard that it's got to be cut down, and it's all got to go through a double door, down a hallway, and out another double door, right? So that's painstaking. Mm-hmm. That's a big demo project, and it's a big reno project because getting stuff back in that space is not going to be easy. So the hope is to get them started in April, May-ish, where they can start demoing in the evenings, not during the day while kids are here, obviously, and then do it all next summer. That's our goal, is over that 8 to 10 weeks over the summer, get all these renovations done and have them in place by that second week of August when our kids return for the 22-23 school year.
That's exciting. So what, we've been, I know internally we've been kind of talking about this for quite a while before it kind of went public and everything. And I know we've done some work to make sure that we're prepared for this, but what kind of things have we done before we said, let's just build some stuff? What have we done to kind of make sure everything's lined up and in place?
Well, I think the most important thing that we've done in my 3 years here is a real facility study, getting an understanding of what kind of shape we are in. And what we've learned is our facilities are in good shape. When we talk about the exterior, the electrical, plumbing, all those things are in phenomenal shape, and that's credit to great people ahead of me that maintain the grounds and done very well taking care of the property. So what we've learned through that facility study is the fact that we shouldn't have surprises coming at us that we can't pay for without a debt service issue. So that allowed us to really set the stage for, okay, we're pretty well buttoned up. What can we do to go above and beyond for our kids? And again, this is, I'm passionate. I think our kids deserve our very best. So what can we do to give our students the best space to learn in? And that has opened the door, because our facilities are in such great shape, and we aren't paying to fix a bunch of small things that could add up to $5 million in a hurry in a building our size. We've got room to make a real facility improvement.
And I know, I had got a chance to see that, that study, and it was in depth. I mean, they looked at carpet, they looked at ventilation, they looked at the boilers, they looked at the walls. It was top to bottom, and it was definitely a credit to those folks that really took good care of the building. So I think it's important to know that we've done our due diligence before this showed up, and that we're not going to say, oh no, this thing that we were just kind of ignoring just suddenly popped up, and we've looked at, to the best of our ability, everything.
Right.
And I know, there's been a lot of K.I.S.S Act, and ESSER funds, and different things through COVID, and some people are going to be asking, hey, you're going for more money, but you just got a bunch of money. So what can you tell us about how that's worked for us?
The truth is, the school did receive a lot of money from the federal government to respond to COVID. I'm not going to put my head and say that COVID had a negative impact on our students educational growth. So those dollars were meant for that. A large number of our dollars have went back to our educators, whether that be through summer school, some classroom reduction. We've kept some staff on board or hired some new staff to drive down classroom sizes to improve instruction. We've increased our small group instruction staff, our support staff. So a lot of those dollars went back to staffing. And a lot of that money, not a lot, some of that money went into tech upgrades that we need to do to be able to respond to some of the things we experienced, to virtual learning and those type of things. And then we've earmarked some money to, go back through and check out our HVAC and make sure that it's up to par where it should be. Recommissioning is what they call that. Carpet upgrades. Again, you pointed out that our studies, they point out areas which we could improve our flooring. Those funds could be used for that, for air quality reasons. And we also earmarked some funds to assist in our furniture that's going to be needed at Vision Corner. So really, really working hard to be good stewards of those funds. I think Randolph Eastern, if there's a feather in anybody's cap that's sat in the seat before me, is they've been a good steward of funds. Randolph Eastern's in good financial shape. Our facilities are in great shape. And now we've got some additional dollars to assist our staff and teaching our students what they may have lost over the past 18 months during COVID. So that's the design behind those federal funds. And again, our goal is just to be really, really good stewards of those funds and use them appropriately to help catch up and take care of the learning loss that did occur in every school across the country.
Absolutely. And I know it's important for, I think, everybody to understand, all those different federal grants and all those federal dollars had stipulations and requirements, and it could be used for this, not that. It wasn't just, here's a blank check, go for it,
Yeah, and we're held accountable to those, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just, it seems like weekly or bi-weekly we get an email from from the Department of Education or someone saying, here's a new stipulation. They're not loosening up the way in which we use the funds. If anything, they're tracking them more closely, which is fine. Again, if you're being a good steward, that's not a problem. But it's not just, excuse me, it's not just go do with those funds as you please. It's supposed to go back towards learning loss, connectivity, technology, those type of things.
And I know, having been here during the summer, I know as we worked through those budgets and built those grants and explained what we were doing, I know there was a lot of time, a lot of sweat and thought that went into how we were going to utilize these funds and what best way we could utilize them to improve the student education.
Right.
And
I think every administrator in the country would say, additional funds are awesome, or we're never going to turn them away because it's good for our students. But at the end of the day, it creates a pile of work, right? When you're talking about tracking that number of dollars, and you may think, oh, boo-hoo, you've got to track money. That's not easy.
No.
So that was our challenge this summer, is trying to develop a good budget with 4 years or 3 years in mind. How are we best going to spend these dollars over 3 years? Which is difficult in itself. But no, there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of work that comes with handling federal funds when it comes out like that.
Yeah, that's another piece that it's easy to forget, is that they've built these funds to last for and be able to be utilized for 3 or 4 years, because they know that learning loss isn't just going away tomorrow.
Right.
This isn't just here's a bunch of funds, you got to use it in a year. It's we're gonna be using it to provide improved instruction and better staffing and smaller class sizes for years to come.
And that's exactly what, and you know this because painstakingly you have to do a lot of the work, but just talk about technology subscriptions, paying those out over 3 to 5 years to make a long-term commitment to a program and paying it for those with those funds up front, so we can work on this year after year and not just 21, 22, because we all know it's going to take 2 to 3 years to get back what our kids lost in those 18 months.
And I know that our folks are working real hard on that.
Absolutely.
Is there, I know I've asked a fair bit of questions, and are there any things that you wanted to add or we didn't cover, or?
No, I think the biggest thing that I'd like to address whenever I get the chance is through this project, there was a kind of an undercurrent about our ag program and us, making cuts or reducing, what we do for our ag students. And if anything, I hope people see the drawings and think, wow, they're doing that, and that is large part with our ag students in mind. And those agricultural students, that's a number of different student in this world, right? That's not only farming, but that's our machining students, that's our welding students. That goes animal science. It goes a number of different ways, and we're just going to give them a space that is absolutely incredible. So that's just one, like I said, misconception that I love to address anytime I get in front of people, is that we've made a commitment to our ag program. We are bolstering our career technical education. This is investment into collaboration, which is all career technical education is all about, which you know all too well. So no, that I'm excited. I'm excited to bring this to our students. Like I said, I can't say it enough, but our students absolutely deserve our best. And in my opinion, this is us putting our best foot forward.
And I know you've met with a lot of local business owners and farmers, and kind of really discussed and looked at what the impact would be for a lot of those, and helped kind of dispel some myths and help. This can be complicated math when you're trying to figure out how this is going to affect me. I mean, I look at my property tax bill when I get it, and I'm not even sure. I didn't even know this creek went through my property, and I've got to pay for it. So I mean, I know I don't fully understand.
Sure.
It's complicated.
It's very complicated, and we have met. We've run some cost runs for some folks. Obviously, we can't do that for everyone, but we've had some people that were concerned that their taxes were going to go up, $4,000 to $6,000 a year, and that's a lot. And I would have a hard problem sitting across the table saying that. But when they learn that could be $200 to $400 a year, that made them feel a whole lot better. So again, I think the more we're able to educate people and get in front of some folks and let them know that the tax impact is not as daunting as they see, it helps relieve some fears. But again, it's a tough burden to carry, to figure out how to have those conversations with people, because it's their money that they've earned. But it's getting people to understand that they're investing in education. And in my opinion, whether you're paying for education at Randolph Eastern, assisting us, or if you're paying for your own child to go to get a certificate at Ivy Tech, or paying for your own child to go to Ball State University, there's no better investment than education.
Yeah, I know, I'd agree. And as we looked at some of the numbers and everything, I know, my dad always said somebody paid for my education, so I'm going to pay it on down the road. And so I know I took that to heart. But we're going to have more meetings. There's going to be some more information going out. I know you've got a presentation that you're going to record as well. When is there's going to be another public hearing? When are we looking at for the next public hearing?
So my hope is to get a presentation recorded and sent out by Thursday evening. We'll put that on social media, on our website. Again, it's just an educational, more on the why behind the project itself. But the next public hearing is scheduled for October 14th, where we'll take public feedback again on the project itself, and give people the forum to kind of speak and share not only their concerns but their support. I think there's a misconception that nobody supports this, and I think I have a long list of people that would disagree with that as well, and those people will be there too to share why they think this is good for kids and why this is good for education at Randolph Eastern.
Well, I think we'll look forward to that, and look forward to more information coming out on the website. You can check us out. You can look for that information on the Randolph Eastern Facebook page, our Twitter page, and then the new website. So if you haven't seen the website, come take a look at it. We've put a lot of work on it. And we've had one of our students put together a really neat video that you're going to see on that main page that does a lot to highlight what we offer. And that's www.resc.k12.in.us. It's a long name, but a Google search will take you right there. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you have questions, reach out, and we'll do our best to kind of help you and go from there. And I want to thank Mr. Black for joining us tonight to kind of help kind of shed some light on this, what I think is a really neat project and going to really set kind of a lasting impact on our students. So thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in.